Hello, my friend. I'm Owen Thorne, and I'd like to gently invite you into a realm of serene imagination. In a moment, we will wander through moonlit cobblestone streets in a small Italian village, where fragrant vines climb old stone walls, and the night air hums with the warmth of a Mediterranean breeze. For now, simply allow yourself to sink into comfort. With each deep, soft breath you take, let your worries loosen and dissolve, gently drifting away like leaves upon a calm blue lagoon. Notice the steady rhythm of your heart and let it remind you that you are safe, secure, and free to explore this story without a hint of rush. All you need to do is relax, settle deeper into your space, and know that you deserve every moment of peaceful rest. Soon, you will follow a story set beneath the Italian stars, where music whispers through ancient alleyways, and each soft lantern glow welcomes you to a place of quiet enchantment. And now, the story begins. Far, far away, in a quaint Italian village, tucked amid rolling hills of emerald green, a lingering twilight sky shimmered overhead. A gentle hush had settled upon this place, where the day's final rays of sun cast a warm orange glow across silent rooftops and time-worn bell towers. As evening embraced the land, an air of expectancy seemed to hang beneath the emerging stars, like a subtle promise of something magical in the hours to come. In the heart of this tranquil village stood a modest piazza bordered by antique lanterns. The lanterns illuminated the space just enough to reveal a worn marble fountain in the center. Its waters trickled in a slow, lullaby-like tune, the droplets shining as they caught the moon's silver reflection. Around the fountain's edge, pots of blooming geraniums offered a faint yet comforting scent, blending effortlessly with the perfume of citrus trees that grew nearby. Above, the velvety sky was gradually deepening into midnight blue, dusted with stars that winked and sparkled as though they were prepared for a divine performance. Through a narrow archway, a traveller emerged, stepping carefully across the ancient stones that formed the main street. The traveller's face held a quiet anticipation, drawn to the comforting promise of soft conversation and gentle music that had been floating through the night air. The breeze carried whispers of a serenade played on a distant mandolin, the notes dancing along shuttered windows and trailing around corners to guide weary hearts to a welcoming space. The traveller, with a small satchel slung over one shoulder, wore an expression of serene curiosity, ready to embrace the simple wonders the evening would bring. The lane led onward, past rustic brick walls draped with climbing vines of ivy and delicate blossoms. Warmly lit doorways opened to cozy trattorias, their interiors glowing with candlelight and subtle laughter. From time to time, the traveller paused to admire a radiant window box of red begonias, or to breathe in the mouth-watering aroma of fresh basil and tomatoes simmering in the nearby kitchens. Every step upon the ancient cobblestones felt like an invitation to slow down and observe life's gentle details. Eventually, the traveller reached a charming outdoor café near the piazza. Wooden tables and chairs had been placed carefully on a terrace overlooking the fountain, and a handful of locals sat around sipping espresso or sharing a plate of freshly baked pastries. The air carried a note of roasted coffee beans, so comforting and warm that it seemed to envelop each passerby in a gentle embrace. From within the café, soft lights revealed shelves lined with vintage espresso cups and pastel canisters of tea leaves. The woman who ran the café, a kind, silver-haired figure, moved quietly among her patrons, refilling cups and offering warm smiles. Even from a distance, one could sense her gentle spirit. Near the fountain, a lone musician picked up a mandolin and plucked out a series of chords that seemed to glow with promise. The melody was delicate, almost tentative, as though coaxing the night to show its full splendor. Each note drifted across the stones, weaving itself into the hush that blanketed the village. The traveler found a seat at an empty table to listen, charmed by the lullaby-like cadence. Before long, the silver-haired cafe owner approached with a soft greeting. In a voice as comforting as well-worn velvet, she offered a small menu of herbal infusions, each blend designed to relax the senses. Lavender for tranquility, chamomile for gentle sleep, or lemon balm for sweet dreams. The traveler chose a calming brew, warmed by the kindness in her voice. The cafe owner disappeared into the softly lit interior to prepare the tea, leaving behind only the quiet hum of conversation and the twinkling starlight. As the mandolin's melody expanded, more villagers drifted into the piazza. Some stood to admire the night sky. Others brought small plates of fresh fruit or homemade biscotti to share with their neighbors. A subtle sense of community enveloped the square. Nobody seemed rushed or anxious. There was a mutual understanding that in this moment, time was their ally, stretching kindly to cradle them in gentle repose. Soon, the cafe owner returned with the steaming cup of herbal tea. She placed it gently upon a saucer painted with delicate olive branches, smiling in a way that made her eyes crinkle warmly at the corners. The aroma of lavender and chamomile swirled upward in faint ribbons of steam, mingling with the crisp freshness of the evening air. As the traveler savored the first sip, muscles relaxed, tensions uncoiled, and any lingering thoughts of the outside world softened at the edges, drifting into the background. Music continued to float, a gentle tide carrying away the cares of the day. The musician's soft serenade washed over the piazza in lingering notes. His fingers moved deftly over the strings, each chord resonating with the hush of the Italian night. An occasional gust of mild wind brushed the tops of olive trees just beyond the stone walls, creating a faint rustle that harmonized with the musician's tune. Fireflies emerged, flickering in and out of view like tiny lanterns drifting through the darkness, adding yet another gentle shimmer to the scene. By degrees, the traveler felt drawn deeper into the allure of this timeless place, feeling in unison with the serenity that enveloped every corner. The distant sound of church bells, though subdued, gave a sense that the evening would stretch ahead in endless possibility, filled with the melodic hush of a world at rest. With each passing moment, the mind grew softer, the heart lighter, and the breath calmer. A short distance from the café, a narrow stairway led down toward a canal that meandered along the edge of the village. Its waters were dark and still, mirroring the constellations above. Lanterns lined the canal's bank, their gentle glow reflecting in the ripples, forming playful ribbons of light. Guided by an inner impulse, the traveller left the table, quietly thanked the cafe owner, and headed toward the stairs. Descending each step, the traveller became increasingly aware of the water's inviting hush. Night-blooming flowers along the canal's edge swayed lightly in the breeze, filling the air with a delicate perfume. A little boat made of polished wood floated at the foot of the steps. A kindly boatman was there, seemingly anticipating curious wanderers wishing for a moonlit journey. With no words necessary, a gentle exchange of smiles secured passage aboard the boat. The traveller settled into the soft cushions, and soon the gentle splash of oars guided them away from the dock. As the boat drifted along, the traveller gazed at the warm glow of the village lights. Soft shadows danced on the nearby walls, and the shimmering reflections of lanterns appeared almost liquid in the dark water. The boatman, wrapped in a quiet sense of purpose, steered with methodical strokes, never needing to raise his voice. Occasionally, he glanced back and nodded, as if to reassure his passenger that this was a safe and dreamy passage through the soft embrace of the evening. Gliding around a gentle bend, the canal opened into a wider lagoon guarded by tall cypress trees. Their silhouettes looked regal against the star-dappled sky. A hush fell over the water, broken only by the whisper of the breeze through branches and the faint calls of night birds settling in their nests. The traveller leaned back, letting the hush cradle any lingering thoughts, releasing them to the surface of the water so they could drift away, carried downstream into peaceful oblivion. Before long, the boat approached a small landing, illuminated by a single wrought iron lantern. The boatman helped the traveller ashore, and with a tipping of his hat, he carried on, vanishing into the soft darkness. The traveller found a narrow path winding up a gentle slope toward an old villa perched on a hill overlooking the lagoon. Its warmly lit windows cast a welcoming glow across the night. Following this path felt like stepping into a secret labyrinth of moonlight and vines. Clusters of jasmine blossoms trailed along the stone walls that flanked the way, releasing their sweet scent at the lightest brush. The gravel underfoot made a soothing crunch with each careful step, mingling in the silence like a quiet lullaby. An occasional glimpse of the lagoon sparkled through breaks in the greenery, reminding the traveller of the calm waters below. At the hilltop, the traveller arrived at the villa's entrance, an arched doorway of weathered wood. Beyond it lay a courtyard, open to the sky, filled with potted lemon trees and terracotta urns brimming with fragrant herbs. The warm glow came from lanterns suspended on wrought iron hooks along the stone walls. In the middle of this courtyard stood a small table, set with delicate glasses and a woven basket of fresh bread. The caretaker of the villa, a gentle soul named Marietta, stepped forward to greet the traveller with a serene smile. Her presence immediately inspired ease. Marietta offered a seat beneath a trellis of flowering vines. From somewhere beyond the courtyard, one could hear the subdued sound of a violin, accompanied by the faint murmur of laughter. Marietta explained, in hushed and melodic tones, that a small gathering of friends had come to the villa to share music and stories under the stars. She invited the traveller to rest here, to listen and savour the open-air wonder that lingered in the night. As the violin's notes drifted closer, Marietta brought out a small plate of ripe figs, drizzled with honey, alongside slices of mellow cheese. Each bite was a revelation of sweetness, balanced by the faint, salty richness that paired perfectly with the softness of the star-filled sky. The traveller's senses felt cradled in the tender pace of the evening, the subtle flavours of figs and cheese, the distant echoes of conversation, the tang of lemon blossoms floating on the breeze. Soon, a quiet hush settled over the courtyard as the violinist appeared, accompanied by a guitarist. They bowed gently to their tiny audience, then began a soft duet, an instrumental lullaby steeped in centuries of Italian tradition. The music rose and fell in gentle waves, meandering through minor keys that evoked both longing and comfort in the same breath. In that unhurried moment, the courtyard became a sacred space, each note weaving a tapestry of dreams meant to soothe the spirit. As the duet continued, a small black cat meandered into the courtyard, tail held high, curiosity sparking in its bright eyes. It wound itself around the traveller's ankles, then curled up quietly near a potted rosemary plant, purring in a contented hum. There was a sense that all living things here, people, animals, even the plants swaying in the nighttime breeze, were unified in a hush of companionship. Each breath, each heartbeat, seemed synchronized with the pulse of this serene gathering. After the final note faded into the darkness, the guitarist offered a gentle bow, and the violinist gave a grateful nod. Friends in the courtyard applauded softly, careful not to shatter the tender spell of night. The group began speaking in quiet voices, praising the beauty of the performance. Marietta drifted through the assembly, refilling glasses with cool spring water infused with lemon slices, a refreshment designed to restore and calm. The traveller, feeling an affectionate sense of belonging, was invited to linger longer beneath the trellis. Some of the guests shared simple tales of how they had come to this villa many times before, drawn by the villa's nurturing atmosphere. Others reminisced about old songs, taught to them by grandparents who once wandered these same hills. The stories emerged in soft rhythms, unhurried and loving, each sentence floating through the still air. And so the night deepened, time spilling gently into the hush that enveloped every heart. Eventually, the gathering dispersed. One by one, guests said their goodnights, offering brief, warm embraces before stepping back into the moonlit paths that led home. Lanterns were dimmed, but enough remained lit to guide each soul through the courtyard without fear of darkness. Marietta caught the traveller's eye and beckoned them toward a side entrance leading to a small guest room. She explained with a motherly tenderness that the room was prepared. Soft bed linens draped in white cotton. Windows opened just enough for the night air to flow through. Inside, the guest room reflected the villa's simple yet comforting aesthetic. An antique wooden wardrobe stood near one wall, its doors painted with subtle patterns of olive branches. Beside the bed, a low table held a pitcher of water and a small glass, along with a single candle set in a gently burnished holder. The bed itself promised rest in every aspect, from the plush pillows to the carefully folded blankets that invited weary travellers to surrender their cares. A quick glance through the window revealed the courtyard, now dappled with starlight and the faint glow of a remaining lantern. Soft footsteps echoed outside as Marietta retreated, leaving the traveller in a cocoon of silence. In this space, the only sound was the gentle whisper of curtains swaying, coaxing the mind to float on the promise of serene slumber. The traveller lowered onto the bed, feeling the subtle give of the mattress, noticing the immediate relief that radiated through tired limbs. The day's journey and the gentle wonders of the evening had softened every muscle, freeing them from strain or tension. The traveller's gaze lingered on the dancing candle flame for a moment, entranced by its muted flicker against the dim walls. Slowly, even that bit of light seemed to recede, as eyelids grew heavy and the body relaxed into the restful hold of midnight. Outside the villa, the village and its surroundings remained steeped in a hush of velvety darkness. The canal shimmered in ripples of moonlight, reflecting constellations that seemed to stretch infinitely above. Somewhere, the mandolin player had likely gone home to rest, cradling his instrument with the same gentleness that had carried his music through the piazza. And in quiet corners of the villa, the echoes of the violin still seemed to resonate, humming softly in memory. Hours passed in a slow, dreamlike progression, with the night breathing an almost imperceptible lullaby. The tall cypress trees kept watch, their silhouettes unwavering against the horizon. Every so often, a faint breeze stirred through the olive groves, mixing sweetly with the perfume of lavender and citrus. In a distant part of the village, an old clock tower chimed, its tones muffled by the thick hush of the hour. The cat, once napping near the rosemary, had curled up against the villa's warm walls, purring in perfect contentment beneath a tapestry of stars. In the quiet morning to come, sunlight would gently break over the hills, washing the village with warm gold and stirring life anew. Bakers preparing fresh bread, children laughing on their way to the piazza, shutters opening to greet the brightening day. But for now, all was still, Peace reigned in every hushed corner, every dappled reflection, and every softly drawn breath. It was a time for rest, a time for surrender, and for the traveller, a time to drift deeper into the comforting embrace of sleep. The spell of Bella Notte had wrapped itself around everything, singing a gentle lullaby to each soul under its celestial canopy. No matter where anyone wandered in this little Italian dreamscape, a shared warmth and tranquility bound them together. The place itself breathed an invitation to slow down, to sip life in small, sweet increments, and to find solace in simplicity. Slumber settled like a tender blanket, bringing softness to even the edges of consciousness. The traveller's mind, filled just moments ago with subtle music and flickering candles, sank into a realm of deep, untroubled rest. Dreams of boat rides and star-laden skies coalesced with the gentle strum of remembered melodies, forming a tapestry of peaceful reverie. A sense of timelessness took hold, as though, in this place, the normal measures of hours or minutes no longer mattered. What mattered was only the lull of the night, the hush of breath, and the quiet promise of renewal with the dawn. Nothing rushed, nothing hastened. The hush stretched out as though it could last forever. And in that hush was solace beyond words, an invitation to release every tension, every nagging concern, and every fragment of daily clamour. This was a realm of drifting tranquility, where stardust shimmered on the surface of gently stirring waters, and the heart found its slow, comforting rhythm once more. Even the simplest details, like the soft brush of sheets or the faint scent of jasmine lingering in the air, contributed to this woven dream of serenity. A half-remembered chord or phrase might flit through the traveller's resting consciousness, stirring a gentle smile in slumber. Outside, the night carried on in its own fluid dance, while inside that guest room, stillness reigned absolute. In time, the traveller's breaths fell into perfect harmony with the lull of Bella Notte. Each exhale let go of a little more weight, drifting deeper into that valley of restful oblivion. Each inhale welcomed the calm presence of the Italian night, warm, soothing, and full of the promise of renewal. All else drifted away, floating like petals on a breeze, leaving only the comforting cradle of the villa's embrace. Moments stretched into an almost boundless expanse. Stars shifted overhead in slow arcs, and the moon cast its gentle glow on silent rooftops and hushed, sloping hills. It was a dance of cosmic serenity, enveloping every soul who dreamt beneath that sky. And so the traveller drifted through softly layered dreams, carried on currents of music and starlight, gently held by the night. When the edge of dawn eventually approached, the softest birdsong would greet the horizon in sleepy trills, while the last stray notes of the nighttime hush lingered a bit longer, blending the end of darkness with the whisper of morning. Yet, in the quiet calm of the guest room, the traveller was free to remain in slumber, undisturbed by the faint glow that would begin painting the sky in pale rose and amber. For in this realm, rest was the truest guide, and there was no rush toward the next day's demands. Let the hush of night cradle each breath. Let the hush of night softly wrap itself around your drifting mind. It is safe here, in this quiet moment, where the breeze sighs through vines, and the faint memory of music lingers like stardust in the air. The hush is yours, and nothing can disturb the gentle, radiant calm of this haven. Now, let the pace slow even more, as the sweet lull of slumber invites you to surrender. Allow your thoughts to melt into the quiet warmth of contentment. With every inhale, you gather the gentle hush of this Italian night, and with every exhale, you release any remaining tension. Notice how light your body feels, how your mind drifts on the calm waters of a starry lagoon. There's no need to do anything else but rest in this soft moment, cocooned by peaceful sensations and the recollection of a serene piazza, a moonlit canal, and the gentle notes of a lullaby. Let each breath lead you deeper into the landscape of tranquil dreams, where time pauses and the spirit finds restoration. Feel how the gentle magic of Notte envelops you like a tender embrace. As you settle into the stillness, welcome the softness that covers you from head to toe, releasing cares into the silent night, allowing the hush to guide you toward the velvet depths of restful sleep. This is your time to let go, to drift in complete safety under a canopy of gentle starlight. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.